All right, thank you, Kavya, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us again today. I hope you all can hear me because morning when I was wearing this mic, everyone said you can't hear me. But I think I can hear myself now. Thank you. So, this is a report that AdTech does. This is the fourth edition, and this is a report on CMO's priorities or marketers' priorities. It's built over a period of 3 to 4 months, carefully speaking with almost 70 CMOs on what they are looking at growing in 2024, what they are looking at deprioritizing in 2024, what are the challenges, so on and so forth. The question that we ask is, how fast should brands be growing? Is there an answer to that? And the answer is, of course, as fast as possible, right? Everyone wants to grow as fast as possible. So your investors, your employees, your suppliers, partners, all are attracted towards the fastest growing companies. And please correct me if I'm wrong here. But what we've seen in the last 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years is that this growth at growth's sake, right, is nowhere near sustainable. It's not even profitable. And somewhere that is sinking into all marketeers. And therefore, in 2024, we are seeing a careful optimism. So I'm going to show you some insights from the report here right now. And you can download the report after this, which has detailed analysis. So there is careful optimism, there is willingness to invest in the right tech and the right channels and the right audience. Like I said, India is the place to grow as of now. We're doing so well economically, we have a population dividend. The market is opening up and we're still probably still tapping into that top 1%, there's 99% left, right? So there is a lot of growth and there is a lot of optimism for that growth, but that needs to be carefully done. So there is a shift towards priorities, towards increasing your return in ad spends by increasing efficiencies, more careful attribution, personalization, AI. So this then translates into effectiveness means smart tech, AI, applications of AI, generative AI, creativity, lot of copyright writing being done by AI. Very careful media selection and optimization of channels, personalization. So based on what we've heard from the report, we have Gaurav from Noise, Rajiv from Dabur, and Vaibhav from Tyroo to lay some insights on what they are seeing in the market. So Gaurav, let's start with you. And what are the market sentiments looking like for you? Is this a market which you think is difficult to grow in, or is it coming easy versus the last couple of years?
Thanks, Shiney. I think I represent the smart wearables industry, smart watches, and so on and so forth. In the past few years, we've actually seen like triple-digit growth. And to see that kind of growth at scale is obviously very hard. I think last CY, the category grew by about 35-36%, which would be which will be a very good number. But when you look at like 100-150% growths, then that kind of looks a little bit smaller. But the moot point is that are the best days behind us, or are they still in front? I think that this category is yet to see its best days. The forecast that we are like making from $1 billion industry, which is smartwatches today in the country, this should be going to about 3.5 in the next 4 to 5 years. So I think the best days are still in front of us. But then just a slight caution over here. The way the industry has operated to get to this stage is not what's going to take this industry from $1 billion to say $3.5 billion. More premiumization, more services-led revenue rather than just a hardware-led revenue, and so on and so forth. So it can't be just a product-driven growth. It has to be like a whole ecosystem play. And I think the theories and the playbooks are being written, but I think the best days are still ahead of us.
Awesome. Vaibhav, what do you think about this?
Tyroo represents the scheme where basically demand and supply interacts, right? So when we look at the spectrum, we are like, what Gaurav was saying, growth for us has also been very phenomenal over the years. And But recently what we have started to now see in the sense is that, when the funding winter started, right? Marketeers overall started to get into this zone where they were like, hey, you know what, we want profitable growth. It's not growth at all costs. It's basically profitable growth. And now when you look at profitable growth, that when a marketer says profitable growth, what they are largely implying is, hey, the ROAS is very critical for me. Even if it's brand dollars, I want to see how those brand dollars are going downstream and impacting my ROAS. So it's not just about, hey, take these dollars and just give me growth at all costs. It's like, I have infinite amount of money available. If you can give me the kind of KPIs that I want, which then marries back to my business plan.
Sure.
It's not, so that's what we are seeing. So it's still growth, but good growth, and there's more growth coming forward, but it'll be more cautious growth.
Sure. So Rajiv, I know FMCG market is very, very cautious, and Dabur is not a one-day game or a two-year game. We've seen infinite growth with Dabur, right? So if there is growth that you are seeing in 2024, and I know it is cautious growth, there is so much that needs to be careful about. But where is it coming from? Is it new markets? Is it new products? But are there new things that you are venturing into?
So growth for us is typically from our traditional products, which have been there for several years. But what happens is that over the years, you see a flattening of growth.
Need to hold
which
it
happens
closer.
Closer? Okay. You see a flattening of growth happening from such categories because, you have to keep recruiting new consumers because their lapsage is very, very high. And especially in the case of low penetration products like Chyawanprash and say honey, etc., which are penetrated to the level of about 5 to 10% or maximum 20%. Products which are penetrated 99% in the country, like toothpaste, for example, their growths come because you want to take share from somebody else, like a market leader or something. So it is always a mix of different kinds of strategies which you adopt. However, which is basically getting new consumers and adding consumers from, say, existing set of consumers from other companies. The new products, obviously, we have a basket of products which we launch every year, and we keep about 5% of our business which should come from the new products every year. So at least the 5% is innovation, 5% comes from the new products, and the rest of the business comes from, say, traditional products.
Correct.
But for companies like us, unlike say Noise, which is a new company, new kid on the block, they are looking at triple-digit growth, etc. That we see for new products. Like when we launched sanitizer in year 2020, we saw massive growth that year, and that kind of started tapering down because people stopped using that kind of product. For existing products, it's always a challenge to grow in double-digit or triple digits. It's always a low single digits.
So you said there is, Gaurav, you spoke about premiumization, and is it coming from the unit economics aspect of things where we're saying that can we make this just a little more expensive and more premium so that business does better? Is that how that works?
No. What we are seeing, just to be a little bit mathematical about this thing, every 2 years a person changes his or her smartwatch. So in the 2 years of using a smartwatch, you get used to that level of performance, and now you're looking to get a higher level of performance, be it in terms of design, aesthetics, the computing power, and so on and so forth. And which is where for OEMs, it just makes a lot of sense that the person who bought it in, say, 2022, whenever he or she comes back to the market, we are able to give a product which is decidedly superior from the early experience. So it's almost like, you are increasing reach through a certain range of products. But when that person comes back into the fold to buy the second smartwatch or the second audio, then you're almost taking that person and saying, hey, I'm unlocking newer things for you. So for me, premiumization is more about the increasing expectation from the consumer and having the right hardware and the services suite to cater to that person. And then obviously, there are some other form factors like this thing we just launched about 5-6 months back. It's a smart ring. decidedly much more expensive than what we sell our smartwatches and so on and so forth, which is opening up a different audience segment altogether.
Correct.
But the first one is more about the existing audience segment. This is more about opening a different audience segment. Both are premiumization, but with a different approach. Then you put it
Correct.
this
So
way.
it's about upping the product and upping the experience as well. So that's where we're playing at, right? So improving the customer experience, and the customer is then willing to obviously pay a premium for it. Correct. Vaibhav, coming to you, are you seeing, like you said, there is that limit on ROAS, and there is this little bit going. Are there any change in KRS for your clients in the last 2 years versus 2024? What are you hearing?
I mean, there is a change for sure. But one key factor is that performance stacks are going to win.
Okay.
Right? If you can bring in performance, if you can bring into the market performance products for marketeers, they will always want to give you their dollars.
Sure.
Right? They have a certain business plan they're running with, and if you can cater to their expectations, which mostly, obviously, I'm not saying it cannot come from brand dollars.
Correct.
Brand dollars are equally important. If people don't know about your brand, there is no way,
Correct.
it'll all happen. But performance tax is what, we find a lot of dollars are shifting towards, right?
Yeah. Is that true for you, Rajiv, as well? Is there a stress on dollar spends or per dollar
On the
revenue?
performance side. So that is low-hanging fruit for us. That's something that business always there. If you don't get your consumers from there, you're a loser. So you continue to spend money there. But companies like ours, we look at the top of the funnel much more. We are in an infinite kind of a business.
Correct.
We have infinite kind of growth planned for us. So we keep investing behind the entire population of the country, because everybody, like our company's motto is health and well-being for every household in the country, right? So every person is a consumer. So we have to recruit everybody. Everybody should come and experience our products. Whereas performance side just works with people who are already shopping, and you don't want to lose on them. Right? So you spend money there as well. And ROIs are suffering, like Gaurav was saying that offline chat, that the performance side is getting more expensive, because these companies know that business is going to come from people like Noise and people who are going to spend money behind performance. For us, like, the world is much more wide open, so we tend to invest behind this as well, that as well, give money to everybody, and try to make the best out of everybody.
Awesome. Is that the case for you, Gaurav, as well? Is there more stress on dollar spends in 2024 versus previous years, where we had more money around, investor money lying around to spend? Is there any impact of the funding winter?
Shiney, if I would have been a different company, my answer would have been different, but Noise is a bootstrapped company. So, I mean, in our case, we were never externally funded. Only in our December, Bose invested a little amount in us, but it's a very small amount compared to the scale that we are at. So, not necessarily, would that apply to us? Investor money and all. But then maybe the media dollar, the go-to market, not just media dollars, the go-to market is more about retention and increasing the lifetime value. So how you are creating your digital assets, how you're creating your digital go-to market, and the monies that you're deploying might start to shift from just being acquisition-led to more acquisition and retention and LTV-led. So that will be a big shift that will happen. And I spoke about premiumization, so all these things actually dovetail into each other. Apart from that, as increased competition comes in, and that's what Rajiv and I were discussing about increasing cost of sales and so on and so forth. It's a part of the journey. You will see that the stronger players will keep on doing well, whereas people who are trying to sell their goods through bad unit economics, which means that they're spending more and more money to get that one unit in, will not be doing so well. So I think once that goes off, the not so intelligent money goes out, then I think the ROIs also stabilize. But yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Okay, I think we've talked enough about ROAS and unit economics and the math of it. Let's talk some fun stuff. So let's talk GenAI. correct? And I know everyone's doing something with Gen AI. It's an interesting topic. And Rajiv, you were telling me that you've done some great stuff. So do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so like traditional company like ours, imagine using AI. So it's a new kid on the block, but we've been using it for quite some time in our own way. I'll start with, say, right from concept testing to doing research, doing consumer research, to product testing, to say in R&D. Then that marketing field is wide open. It's used everywhere in marketing as well, in addition to concept testing, etc. Thereafter in manufacturing processes, business forecasting, HR.
Wow.
I think the field is wide open. It's basically optimization of whatever you're doing, plus trying to learn a lot of new things. GenAI has helped us a lot in creating new ads, and that's helped in creativity, enhancing creativity. So somebody in the morning was saying that the creative department will be shut. I don't think it'll be shut. You'll still need somebody to put the input as to get what you want from the AI.
Correct.
So that's why people like us, who've been there 13 years into the business, still have our jobs, because we tell people what to do, and obviously there are youngsters who are
Sure.
teaching us new things.
I think that's great, because when we spoke to marketeers about Gen AI, we saw that most of the implementation for Gen AI was for communication strategies. There is very little percentage that goes into product and other stuff, but it was more into communication and creativity and all that. Vaibhav, are you seeing similar things in the market, or something new is happening after the 2 months of the report being made?
So on Gen AI, yeah, what you said about the marketeers is perfectly right. The creative communication is the easiest. Right? That's the lowest hanging fruit, like what Rajiv was mentioning earlier. So that's the lowest hanging fruit. We are, but it's still, the kid is still in its infancy there.
Correct.
It's not like hey, fill it, shut it, forget it. It's not that, right? So it's in that mode where you need still a co-pilot who will man it. But there's a lot of work happening when you look at Gen AI. I'm the CTO, so if you look at coding, right, software development, a lot of work is happening there, right? This is ad tech, so from a tech perspective, if you look at it, our developer efficiency is going up, right? People who actually build the software, that's definitely 30% boost there.
Correct.
Already, right? Will we see boost in terms of other things like hey, analytics, visualizations? Right, acquisition strategies, because now AI, and this has been there, this is not like happening now. This has been there for a while now, where you can just throw a ton of data to the engine, and the engine will tell you, hey, this is where you need to focus, and this is what you need to deprioritize, right? So that has been there, but the real productized way is, I think next year when we are sitting here same time, we'll have a very different. A lot of work would have been done. Is what
Correct.
I feel.
So someone told me today morning that generative AI in general, is where the internet was in 2000. So great. Gaurav, are you seeing any better efficiencies, better utilizations of AI in noise?
Yeah, and more on the marketing and the content front. Ours is a medium involvement category, which means that a consumer takes about 22, 23 days before they make a purchase. And that's where content becomes a big part of the way people actually get influenced and buy a smartwatch or an audio product and all.
Correct.
And that's where I think Gen AI is doing very well from a consumer touchpoint perspective. How do we have more content, more incisive content in all touchpoints? I think that's one area where we have definitely seen an absolute uptick. On the rest of the things, maybe for me personally speaking, jury's still out. I'm still learning much more about it. But on this one, yes, absolutely.
Sounds good. So if you look at the screen here, you'll see what is it that people are spending on, or planning to increase marketing dollars on. And the biggest space that's come out of it is social media. 80% of marketers are saying that they will increase investments in social media, 79% on WhatsApp or conversational commerce. We have a session on that tomorrow. On search, influencer marketing, retail marketing, CTV and OTT and mobile. So lots of video solutions definitely there. Rajiv, being probably the biggest FMCG in the country, do you want to take a pick on that? How big is social media, influencer, WhatsApp, retail media? So these are new channels, typically, especially retail media, WhatsApp marketing. Do you want to take a hit on that? How is it going for you?
So, by retail media, you mean marketplace, right?
Sorry?
Retail media is marketplaces.
Yes,
right?
marketplaces.
So, in our business, retail media is, all the places which we sell, which is like 1 crore outlets in the country, right?
Wow.
And we sell through almost 80 lakh of them. However, coming to this point on the digital side of it, so retail media, number one, low-hanging fruit. Followed by that is social media, social commerce, then WhatsApp marketing, etc. is still coming to age, but retail media is the highest. I think social commerce and social media led
These are the big
business
ones.
is coming up very fast. It has a very huge amount of growth coming, and somehow I see that retail media growth is flattening out. It has come to the level of about 20% growth, which is a bad news for the industry because it's got a huge headroom to grow in the country. So retail media is stagnating right now, and social media is coming up very, very fast. So in coming years, we'll see that social media, social influencer and influencer commerce are becoming much bigger in the country.
Sounds good. So I think we're running out of time, but we're going to take the last two questions really quickly. Noise for noise, how is it? How is retail media and social media and WhatsApp marketing? These three channels, how are they really growing? Are they going to be very important in the next year or so?
First two have been central to how we've gone to market. So since day zero. So they'll continue. We'll continue to be bullish over there. WhatsApp, in spite of the increased cost in the past 2-3 months, we are seeing decent returns coming in. With the increased cost, I think so. There's a little bit of lessening interest over there. Otherwise, let me put it this way. But I think a lot of the things that he mentioned are for a digital-oriented company like us. They're native to our go-to-market. So we continue to invest. Yeah.
Okay. What about connected television?
Sorry.
What about connected television?
Yeah, I'm personally very bullish. I spoke about the Smart Ring 19,000 rupee product. To actually get consumers, which will be in a niche, you need a medium which is catering to them. So for this kind of a form factor, absolutely makes a lot of sense. The numbers are increasing, and it gives you the best of both worlds: the size and trust that like a large format like TV gives you, and the targeting that the digital gives you. So I'm extremely bullish on CTV.
What are you seeing there, Vaibhav? How is connected television looking for your brands?
Connected television is like, we are very bullish on it. We run a property called Tyroo TV, which is our connected TV stack. We have been there in Southeast Asia, but the thing with connected TV is, and we're going to launch it in India now, is that, hey, can you bring measurement into it?
Correct.
That's, if you can bring measurement into it and then tie it, again, going back to the central theme I was running earlier, can you then tie it down to other downstream metrics? If you can do that, and which is what we will try to do, is then I think there's a lot of dollars available, because then it becomes measurable for the marketer and for them to justify the spends going here.
Absolutely. So measurability is I think a key criteria when it comes to marketers prioritizing or deprioritizing certain channels. That's what we saw through the report as well. I think we've had a great conversation today. I'm really sorry, time's up. I'd really love to keep going on about this, but thank you so much. It was such a wonderful panel. That is the report, ladies and gentlemen. So if you wish to download the report, get more insights on what marketers are saying for 2024, and touch wood, over the last 2-3 years, we've seen that whatever the report says has come out to be true over the next years, because it's coming from you. We are not creating the report. You are creating the report. You're right there in the market. So please download the report. This is the Drivers of Growth report from AdTech and Tyroo. Thank you so much for this conversation today, and thank you for being a wonderful audience.